The term machine operators encompasses a broad category of jobs. Anyone who works with any kind of machinery would fall within this broad job description. Grinding machine operators use machines to grind down metal into the desired shape. Frequently, part of that is shaping metal that may have asbestos coatings. Grinding machine operators, like mechanics, also rework brakes and other mechanical parts that have asbestos pads or linings. Even if the asbestos pad is removed, a lot of asbestos dust remains, and grinding makes it worse. In a 1986 report, the Environmental Protection Agency went so far as to say that regrinding an old brake block lining could release 7 million asbestos fibers per cubic meter, and a light grinding of new linings could release almost 5 million asbestos fibers per cubic meter. Medical experts agree that people who work with friction products are at risk for developing asbestos-related diseases. Floor resurfacing and polishing machine operators also face potentially large amounts of asbestos when the flooring surface contains asbestos fibers, as many of them did through the 1970s. Asbestos is resistant to fire, is chemically inert, and provides efficient insulation against electricity and heat. These properties have made it popular for centuries. Asbestos was used extensively by the ancient Greeks and Romans for clothing and for tablecloths that could be cleaned by throwing them in the fire. Asbestos linings were frequently put into suits of armor worn by knights during the Middle Ages. During its peak use in the United States, between World War II and the mid-1970s, asbestos was used in about 3,000 different products. Asbestos fibers separate easily, and when they are disturbed, they slough off tiny particles of asbestos dust. This dust is too small to be seen without a microscope, but clumps together so at times people will see dust coming off an asbestos product. These clumps, which look just like specks of dust, actually contain thousands of asbestos fibers. When the asbestos dust separates from the main fiber, it easily floats on the air. Any person in the area can then unknowingly breathe in the dust. When asbestos enters the human body, it gets embedded in the lungs or in the membrane that surrounds the lungs and lines the chest cavity. Asbestos is also a carcinogen that causes mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a cancer of the membrane that surrounds the lungs. Mesothelioma, like other asbestos-related diseases, has a lengthy latency period. Signs of the disease usually don't show up for 20, 30, or more years after the asbestos exposure. The first symptom of mesothelioma is shortness of breath during exercise. This symptom is so nonspecific and mild that people rarely notice it at the onset. Over time, the problem becomes worse until the mesothelioma sufferer can't get a full breath of air even at rest. They also usually experience severe chest pain. If mesothelioma is caught in its earliest stages, doctors can sometimes remove the tumor and the surrounding tissue before the cancer metastasizes. Unfortunately, most people do not catch the disease in this early stage. By the time most people realize that they have a health problem and seek medical attention, the cancer has spread. At this point, doctors have the person undergo chemotherapy and radiation, sometimes along with surgery, to try to slow the growth of the cancer. There is no cure for mesothelioma, and although new drugs specifically designed to fight mesothelioma as opposed to general anti-cancer drugs, the mortality rate is still very high. Few people live more than 2 years after being diagnosed with mesothelioma. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.Net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.Net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.Net.
information, and help for patients and families.